We are here in Jerez, and we are waiting for the lights to go green, with Ayrton Senna lining up on pole, Alain Prost alongside him. And the light goes green, Senna gets a really good start compared to Alain Prost. And in the back we see Theo Fabi moving up into third position past Ross Cheever. Everything goes well going through turn 1, Senna still in the lead, then comes Alain Prost, then Cheever. Cheever holds on to third place, and actually Satoru Nakajima has moved up into fourth. Past Theo Fabi, and Emerson Fittipaldi with a really good start. He's up into sixth now, I believe. After quite a bad qualifying session from Emerson, he was stuck behind one of the slower cars, but is immediately trying to make up positions and trying to get past his teammate. Let's take a look further back as we have Roberto Moreno leading a little bit of a train. As I think that is Nelson Piquet behind him. Yes, he does. Then comes Mario Andretti, who's also had a pretty good start. Then Hoshino, then Danny Sullivan in the second McLaren. And then comes Michael Andretti with one of the arrows right behind him. Try and take a look back towards the front as Senna, who qualified 6/10 clear of the next car, being Alain Prost, is immediately trying to streak away and sets the fastest lap initially. So is creating already a big gap, but Alain Prost doing best to clear himself from Ross Cheever behind, which he is doing so successfully. And the question will be now for Emerson Fittipaldi if he can move up past his teammate and fight to get past Alain Prost in this race, because Prost only needs to finish ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi in this race to secure the Drivers' Championship, and Emerson Fittipaldi does move past his teammate. Maybe a little bit of cooperation by his teammate, who knows what's on the line. And now he sets his sights on Nakajima ahead of him, the number 2 Lotus. Second car of Lotus, I should say. A further look back in 7th place, Moreno trying to hold on from Nelson Piquet. Oh, and immediately we have engine issue for Nigel Mansell in the March car. He's slowing down with smoke coming out of the back on lap 2. Out of 72, so really unfortunate for March, who has have obviously been struggling. They're in 10th place in the Constructors with 6 points. And Nigel Mansell will unfortunately have to call it a day already. And he does pull into the pit safely, I think. Maybe he can get this fixed. He does pull into the pit, so yeah, perhaps Mansell can get out again. Thought he wouldn't make it, but I think the crew can actually fix it. And yes, he does, so very fortunate for March. In the meanwhile, we have Senna still pulling a lead, 2.3 seconds ahead now of Prost. Then comes Ross Cheever, then comes Emerson Fittipaldi, who's just gotten past the second Lotus of Nakajima, and Fittipaldi is on a mission. He's determined to not have Prost win the championship here. That'll be an uphill battle for the last 2 rounds, even if he gets ahead of Prost, but he is looking very pacey here, Emerson Fittipaldi, and like we said before, he was unfortunate in qualifying, but his race pace is looking solid. And he now sets his sights on Ross Cheever in 3rd place. And it won't take long, I think, for Fittipaldi to catch up to the back of his car. Further back, PK in 7th. Then comes Hoshino with the second Minardi behind him of Mario Andretti. Mario Andretti qualifying in 10th, I believe, not having the best of runs. Had a bit more luck earlier on in the year and someone goes off there. One of the Tyrrell cars, Michael Andretti. He's now waiting for the traffic to come past, but yeah, went slightly wide there. And lost some time, I think. Just trying to get that car moving, but might be stuck, which would be very unfortunate for Tyrrell, as we now have Mansell coming through, I believe. Let's hope he can get that car moving again, but it doesn't look like it. The field already spreading out a little bit. And here is the second arrow, Stefan Johansson trying to fend off Rennie Arnoux, the second Benetton. Doing successfully so far, but Arnoux definitely closing up to the back. You know, the Benetton is a bit short on power, but here in Jerez, the engine power won't matter too much. Chassis and downforce will be more important. And the two Zach Speed cars now trying to catch up to Mika Hakkinen. And well, they've been performing very solid throughout the year. So we didn't expect Zach Speed to do anything extraordinary, but they've definitely overachieved for what they were supposed to do. And Michael Andretti still stuck there. Not quite sure if he can get it moving again, but he's certainly trying. Meanwhile, Senna now 5 laps in, 4-second gap. He really has some pace, but the question, as always with Lotus, is if the car can make it till the end. Prost now in 2nd. Cheever still holding on to 3rd, but Fittipaldi right on the gearbox. It's a good run. Can make a move, tries on the inside, but no, not enough overspeed. They head through this little chicane. Leave a couple of kinks now, and then into turn 16, the hairpin leading on to the start-finish straight. Let's see if Baldi can get a good run. I think if he manages to get past Cheever, we'll be able to gap him, but that Minardi really fast on the straight, of course. As Andretti still stuck. Oh, and Ross Cheever with an engine issue, so this will allow Emerson Fittipaldi to get a clean run through. Cheever still trying to hold on, but it will be inevitable that Fittipaldi passes him, and yeah, there goes the engine. Fire now coming out of the back of the Minardi, and like we've seen a couple of times now, Ross Cheever really overachieving in the Minardi, but held back by reliability issues. And it has now allowed Emerson Fittipaldi, who will be very glad, has unleashed him, and he can now chase down Alain Prost. That is one of the Minardis. Yeah, here he goes. Ross Cheever pulling to the side into the gravel pit. And the stewards will try to clear up his car. Unfortunate for Minardi, but seen similar things happen for them throughout the year, and reliability definitely still an issue. Now Eddie Irvine moving up into 18th position, Still struggling in that Williams. And actually, Michael Andretti has gotten the car moving again. So 2 laps down, but he's managed to get out of the gravel pit, which is good to see. And I'm sure Team Boss Domi won't be too happy with his driver getting that stuck for long, but at least he's still going. Now he will try to hunt down Nigel Mansell in front of him. Of course, he'll have to make up 2 laps to even get close enough, but we've seen stranger things this season when it comes to reliability for some of these cars, so not all is lost. Meanwhile, Roberto Moreno has dropped back quite a bit now. Must have had some sort of issue at the start, but he's trying to catch up to Jeff Lees. Jeff Lees doing his best in the Williams there to hold on, but like we know, the car isn't what the drivers wanted, and trying his best to the best of his ability to make the most out of it, but yeah, this will be a bit of a futile battle, I believe. Moreno has looked quick all season, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue getting past. And will it happen in the last corner? No, not yet, but on the straightaway, Moreno will definitely get past with a superior car overall. And here he comes on the outside, heading into turn 1. Can he manage? No, Jeff Lees holds on, actually. Obviously, Jerez, not too many straights, a lot of tight and twisties, so Jeff Lees trying to hold on. Now let's take a look and compare some lap times. Yeah, some of our drivers are doing so. Last lap time for Alain Prost was a 33.5, and Fittipaldi had a 34.4, but obviously he was still in traffic, so we'll see. Gets into clean air, what he can do here. We do expect the drivers to be stopping 2 times. The track is pretty bumpy here at Jerez, and the tire wear should be quite high, so we expect 2 stops. And actually, yeah, that lap, Emerson Fittipaldi slightly faster than Prost, so definitely on a mission, and Ayrton Senna a class above the rest, running away with it. Again, has to get to the end as he's 9 laps in and almost 9 seconds ahead. Senna really coming alive here in the second half of the season, and Kovalotis, the manager of Lotus, really trying to turn the ship around and salvage whatever is left of the season, and being quite successful, even though some of the results haven't gone his way. He's made the most of it and is still trying to do so. Prost obviously in second, trying to stay ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi needs to get ahead once again of Prost, so that's the only chance he would have to deny Prost the championship. If Prost finishes ahead, the championship will be sealed. Let's once again compare the lap times. Yeah, 32.9 for Prost. Oh no, that's okay. So Prost doing a 34.8 and a 34.8 as well for Fittipaldi. So matching times at the moment, only 300ths separating the two. Oh. Obviously, you hope for Fittipaldi that he can salvage a bad qualifying session, but it will be tough. We're back now in 4th place. Nakajima. So Nakajima in the second load is doing a very good job. And has the second Ferrari of Theo Fabi behind him. So both the Ferraris in the points again, and the Lotus as well. Oh, and there Mika Hakkinen. Mika Hakkinen with an issue. Comes down the one of the longer straightaways. Not sure. He's about at turn 12, I believe. Will be interesting to see if he can get back, but he's quite a ways from the pits. He only needs to hold on there. Might be an oil leak or a water leak. As the smoke is white, it could be a water leak, so hopefully he can get back, but he's very slowly now as I think Thierry Boutsen gets past, and then so will Bernd Schneider, but no, Mika Hakkinen doesn't make it back to the pits, so he will be our second retirement for the race, 11 laps in. And a shame for the Finnish rookie, as he's not had the best of luck this season. Mario Andretti also not having a good day today, has dropped back quite a bit together with Danny Sullivan, so I think both drivers making a mistake. Now at the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Michael Andretti still pushing on, obviously had that trip into the gravel pit at the start, and is trying his best to catch back up, but definitely an uphill battle. Nigel Mansell now with that early engine issue, must have been a water leak of some sorts as well, but went into the pits, and actually the pit crew was able to resolve the issue quite quickly. He will now be hunting down Eddie Irvine in front in the Williams. 16th place, not too bad for Williams. And Jeff Lee's in 14th, of course, so. Eddie Cheever then for March, trying to latch onto the back of Roberto Moreno, who just seems a little bit faster at the moment. We have a yellow flag still for Mika Hakkinen. The marshals are waving it there, you can see. Still trying to clear up Mika Hakkinen on the side there. And Bernd Schneider again, the German rookie, doing really well in 11th place, and he's also probably overperforming in that Zach Speedy's managed to score points, I think, a couple of times this year. Zach Speed in general, they're in 9th, only 2 points behind Tyrrell, so any points they can score would be great for them, but still a long ways to go. So. Bernd Schneider now getting into a tussle with Roberto Moreno, and actually Moreno comes through as Schneider runs a bit wide there. Moreno coming through once again, now into 11th. Boutsen still in 10th for Zach Speed. And then the second car of Johansson actually now in front of Moreno, his teammate. He's in a bit of no man's land, trying to chase down Rene Arnoux, but Arnoux looks faster at this point in the race. And Hoshino just outside the points. PK in front of him. PK good for 1 point at this stage in the race. And hunting down Teo Fabi. Then goes Satoru Nakajima, and actually Emerson Fittipaldi losing time to Alain Prost in front of him. Must have made a mistake somewhere. At this rate, any sort of chance at the Drivers' Championship is slowly fading away for Fittipaldi. But obviously, McLaren and Ferrari still tied up in the Constructors' Championship, which might be the slightly more important one, as it brings in some more funds for the next season. It's still very tight, so they're even on points, both on 80 points, McLaren and Ferrari, and it can go either way. Now I think if I look back at the split, also a little mistake now from Prost, as Fittipaldi now gets within 7 seconds again. He was 11 seconds behind, but yeah, now within 7, so slight mistake there for Prost. Back towards the front again, Ayrton Senna running away with it, as he's catching up to the back of one car, I think. Oh, that's actually Danny Sullivan and Mario Andretti. They're not looking laser focused, and he is trying to push to get Lotus within that top 3 in the Constructors, and Senna himself is in 4th in the Drivers' Championship. Could easily still get into 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship with a couple of good results. Granted, Fittipaldi has a couple of bad ones, but 3rd in the Constructors would still be very possible, as the nearest competitors are Ligier and Minardi. Oh, and now we take a look back. Al Unser Jr. with a puncture, I think, left front there, and he will pull up behind the car of the stranded Ross Cheever, and that will be one of the Tyrrells out with a tire puncture, unfortunately, as the marshals try their best to clear up the car. So that will be the end of the race for Al Unser Jr. Fabi now in 6th place. Nelson Piquet has gotten past. Looking very fast here today, the Benettons. Both Arnoux and Piquet doing very well. Arnoux usually struggling to get inside of the top 10, but now even he is in P8. And trying to catch up to Hoshino, but Piquet slowly gaining ground on Nakajima in front. And he's going to be challenging for P4 here very soon. And Benetton obviously taken over by Raxter about midway through the season. And he's trying his best to turn the ship around at Benetton, and doing quite successfully. And slowly scoring some points here and there. And today could be another one of those. Still a good chance to get past Arrows and get into 6th position in the Constructors' Championship. 4th place would grant him another 3 points, which would be very beneficial for Benetton. That would put them even with arrows as long as they don't score any points here today. We can see now he's getting very close to the back of the Lotus. Only on the straightaways, I think, where the Lotus can make the difference through the corners. PK definitely faster. Nakajima will be looking in his rearview mirror, keeping an eye on what the Benetton is doing behind him. As we come through turn 1, then into the slower turn 2. See now, Nakajima getting very close. The second Benetton now of René Arnoux in with issues, we heard over the radio. And it seems like he's lost drive, Arnoux, and he will have to pull over here, and he does so. Unfortunate, the number 2 Benetton out of the race as well. And Jerez claiming victims. Tough track is gonna be good for some of the other drivers. As Bernd Schneider trying to challenge Eddie Cheever into turn 1. Can he get the run? No, he doesn't. Trying to get back into 11th position. Cheever, of course, for March, trying to hold on. Best of his ability. Well, I must say, March have definitely made the prettiest looking car this season, but not quite as fast as some of the other ones. And now Bernd Schneider on the inside. Oh, very close there, nearly running onto the grass. And Cheever does have to concede, but very good move by the young German. He will now try to stay ahead. Let's see if Cheever has a reply. Trying his best to hold on, actually gaining a little bit in the corners it seems like, and maybe with some slipstream he'll be able to challenge once again into turn 1. We now head into turn 16, the hairpin, and then onto the straightaway. Let's see if Cheever has an answer. A little bit on the straight, but it seems like that Zaxby just has a little bit more traction coming out of turn 16. Cheever won't be making a move anytime soon, I don't think. Moreno now trying to make his way back up to 9th place, which is Thierry Boutsen, also the Zach speed. Moreno on a bit of a recovery race in this one. Next now PK. 5th, fighting for 4th with Nakajima. We're now heading through turn 16 and onto the straightaway. Let's see if the Benetton manages something here. No, not enough power on the straight. In the corners, he's right onto the back of Nakajima, but doesn't really have the horsepower to contend with the Lotus. Now onto the back straight, leading into turn 9. He is going to challenge on the inside as well. Oh, that was a bit of moving under braking, I think, Nakajima, but he has outbraked himself, and now PK comes through. And he'll immediately be looking to create a gap as he's vulnerable on the straightaways. I think he manages to do so. So yeah, the Benetton's looking really fast here, and PK... not sure what he will do here in clean air, but he could surprise here today. some of these tracks where the car's horsepower isn't as crucial. The Benetton definitely performing well on these sorts of tracks. A lot of low-speed corners. This is where the Benetton really shines, and now PK has gotten the gap to Nakajima, already more than a second ahead, so safe to say PK is also unleashed and will be trying to catch up back to the back of Emerson Fittipaldi in front in the Ferrari. And now there's some ebbs and flowing going on between Prost and Fittipaldi for second and third. Prost doing well so far, and he is driving towards his third world title. Professor, very tactically, doesn't seem to be pushing extremely hard, but I don't think even if he was going to the extremes, he would even be able to challenge Senna, because Senna, once again, just really pulling all of the performance out of that Lotus. Nelson Piquet trying to challenge Emerson Fittipaldi, but let's take a look at some of the lap times. Okay, now doing a 35.1, about half a second, or actually about 8/10 slower than Fittipaldi, so he won't be catching up anytime soon. Prost did have a bit of a slower lap this time around, but that could have been because of traffic. Fittipaldi about 1.5 seconds faster. Senna still doing 34.3, ending his gap. And obviously, well, Ross Cheever is out of the race, but he was definitely contending with Senna, I think, when it comes to pace. Not to beat. Fabi still doing a decent job here in 5th place. Has actually gotten past Nakajima. Or was he always ahead? I'm not quite sure anymore, but Eddie Irvine now did get overtaken by Danny Sullivan, and in the meanwhile, Mario Andretti has also started his recovery race. Michael Andretti, fortunately, 3 laps behind now, but still hanging in there. Jeff Lee's in a very respectable 13th position with his Williams. Eddie Cheever in front of him, about to be lapped by the leader in form of Senna. Does he move out of the way? Yes, he does give way to the leader. There is Senna. And now actually we see an early pit stop coming in here, so Stefan Johansson being called in for his first pit stop of the day. So Johansson, the Swede, running on low fuel compared to some of the other cars. He will be the first one to box. Obviously,
at the end of this lap,
undercut is very possible here, even though nearly 17 seconds behind Hoshino, it's very unlikely that he will be able to undercut, but he will get a little bit of an advantage if he pits a couple laps early. He'll be on fresh rubber and be able to push quite a bit harder. Now see more and more pit stops coming in. We do see now still about 7 seconds behind Fittipaldi and Prost. Fittipaldi is gonna bite the bullet and come in first, trying to undercut Prost, which is very possible, of course. New tires can save about a second or sometimes even 2 seconds a lap, so we'll see how that plays out for him. Oh, and like we described, Lotus might be in trouble here. Senna leading the race, but it is very unlikely he'll... Oh, and there's a big crash, Bernd Schneider. He's crashed into the wall coming out of one of the big corners there, and oh, that tire landing on Jeff Leese's car, nearly taking him off the track as well. But, yeah, Ayrton Senna pulled off once again, reliability hampering the young Brazilian, and he won't be making it till the end of the race. Which does now mean Prost moves into first. And we will follow Emerson Fittipaldi into the pits now. Gets a bit on the grass there. Comes around that sharp bend. A very short pit entry there. And we'll see how long his pit stop is. And obviously we hope that Ferrari has timed the pit stop here to have Fittipaldi come out in clear air there. So there he goes, so good pit stop there, 10.6 seconds. Okay, doing a little bit better with a 10-second pit stop. He now comes out behind Nakajima, Fittipaldi, so hopefully he won't get held up, but we'll have to see. But if everything goes right, Prost still hasn't got his pit call, so well, he might be on a winning strategy here. More and more cars are coming in now. Boutsen coming into the pits as well for Zach Speed. Out of 7th position, he'll drop back a couple of spots. Cheever now coming in. Here comes Jeff Lees as well for Williams. And Michael Andretti still electing to stay out. Mario Andretti as well. And Danny Sullivan coming in now as well. Oh, an issue for Satoru Nakajima, which plays into the hand of Fittipaldi. That's all he needed to get past cleanly, and let's see if Nakajima can actually make it back to the pit stop. He does have to make a pit. He's inside the pit window, so it wouldn't be too much of a time loss. And yes, the second Lotus does make it to the pits. It's a little loose there on entry. That wheel hampering him, but he will be able to do his pit stop. Now we will keep an eye as Fittipaldi on those new tires, trying to make up as much time as he can to Prost. Obviously we will keep an eye as well on Prost coming into the pits and seeing how long he takes. Actually coming up to one of the March cars. So this again could be good for Fittipaldi here, depending if Prost gets held up, and he might get held up a little bit here. I think he does. He does. He's slow here through the chicane, as Nigel Mansell is getting in the way now for the leader. And oh, you will have to come in behind the March as well. Oh! The March car just missed the pit entry. What happened there? Not sure what happened there for Nigel Mansell. He might have misjudged the pit entry there and missed it completely. Oh, but it's a fast stop for Alain Prost. The McLaren's engineers doing very well. And here comes Emerson Fittipaldi now. Prost is already through turn 1, but definitely a time gain for Fittipaldi. And maybe Prost going for a bit of a shorter second stint, seeing as his car wasn't on the jacks for long. See now, Prost here, and maybe only a 2 or 3 second difference between the Ferrari and the McLaren. Meanwhile, Benetton in P3, so podium on the cards here today for PK. And 4th is the second Ferrari. And in 5th so far is Kazuyoshi Hoshino for Ligier. Ligier looking to pick up some very important points here today as well. Yeah. Second Lotus of Nakajima, who's still running. Trying to catch up to the back of him in 7th, just outside of the points, Stefan Johansson. Now Mario Andretti in the Minardi coming in. And let's see how Minardi does on their pit stop. How long will it take for them? About 10 seconds, actually 10 seconds on the dot. Jeff Lees now coming past the pit. And he's just made a pit stop, and over the radio we can hear that he has some sort of issue with one of the wheels, so maybe a bad pit stop here for Williams, and that could mean the end of Jeff Leese's race. Going slow down on the outside, making room for the faster... Oh! Big collision between the slow Jeff Lees and Danny Sullivan. Massive collision, and the yellow flags come out.
Watch out for debris.
Now let's hope they're both okay, because that was a big impact. That, in one fell swoop, will be a Williams and the McLaren out of the race. Quite a serious accident. Hope both drivers are okay. I think Nigel Mansell now still having to come in, but yeah, that nearly collected the leader, Alain Prost, as well. And now, look what that has created. Emerson Fittipaldi right onto the back of Prost, his nemesis this season. And much older but experienced Fittipaldi has seen his chance, and he's be trying to take that opportunity if he gets it. They're now catching up to the back of Mario Andretti, which could be another fork in the wheel of Prost if Andretti doesn't get out of the way immediately. But Ferrari here just trying to hold on to Prost, but Prost looking very, very fast. Obviously has a couple of laps, fresher tires. Yeah, Prost creating a little bit of a gap. He does now come up to the back of Mario Andretti, and let's see. Mario gets in the way. No, he doesn't. Oh, actually, a little bit he does. Now Emerson trying to come through, but yeah, we'll also lose a little bit of time behind the Minardi. Like we know, Minardi really fast on the straight, so the Ferrari will have to make an effort here to get past. Really, the Minardi, Mario Andretti being in 12th shouldn't really Holding up the leaders here, and Fittipaldi's still trying to get past. He's right on the gearbox now. Staying ahead, and it doesn't look like he wants to move out of the way, but Fittipaldi gonna force it now, up the inside, same corner where Prost got passed, and that is again given Fittipaldi a chance to fight back, but now the gap is 1.7 seconds. And I think all Fittipaldi can hope for is another undercut by his team. That will be the best chance he has, I think, unless Prost does make a mistake. Now you can see that Minardi looking pretty handy, but hope, of course. And for some reason, Nigel Mansell is behaving very erratically here in Jerez. Always looks like he wants to come into the pits, but then at the last moment he changes his mind, so hopefully he can figure something out here soon enough. Now has Eddie Cheever coming up behind him. On lap 30 now. More laps till the halfway stage. 36 of those to be exact. Prost coming through now on the first march. Fittipaldi will try to be looking to do the same thing in a swift fashion, as he's now created a little bit of a gap to Andretti behind. PK has managed to close the gap a little bit, I think. Let's see some of the last times. So 35.3 last lap for PK, crossed a 34.5, Fittipaldi a 35.5, so lost about a second last lap, Fittipaldi, because of that traffic. And actually, Bobby the 33.6, so putting in very respectable laps. Look at one of the fastest laps. So Senna was a full second ahead. Then secondly comes Prost with a 32.9, and then Fittipaldi with a 33.2. Yeah, fastest laps if we compare them here. Really a 5-second spread between the top time and the bottom time. And now Satoru Nakajima is also out of the race, it seems. I'm not quite sure what happened to him, but the second Lotus now out of the race as well. I must have made a mistake somewhere. That does mean that Michael Andretti now will move up into 13th. So he's running in last. He's still beating a lot of the drivers here today who've had reliability issues. Gino coming up to the back of Eddie Irvine. Lap him. And there we go, nearly a collision between the two, but Hoshino does manage to get past. And so, still having issues with the pit, maybe. Have an issue with the messaging of the team driver, but fine so far, I believe. Still doing alright, but on very old tires compared to some of the other cars as PK comes through now. Andretti now trying to get past Eddie Cheever. Look at how much faster that Minardi is on the straightaway. And is he gonna challenge here, Andretti? Not yet. It is very close now, and we'll see a move here at any second. Where Andretti will try to move inside of that top 10, and yes, he makes a move on the inside. Looks like Cheever ran a little bit wide there, and Andretti saw a chance to get past. Now inside the top 10, or even P9 now for Minardi. Meanwhile, Fittipaldi slowly dropping back from Prost. So we are nearing the halfway stage. Well, Cheever now almost getting lapped by PK as well. PK should have a lot of extra speed. Get past. Now does pull alongside, and I think Cheever actually... Oh! No, he's actually had an issue. So Cheever... The suspension, oh yeah, that right rear tires is lifted off of the ground, so that is taking the toll here on the cars. And once again, very clear that liability is still an issue here for a lot of teams. Pulls to the side there. Will now put Eddie Cheever up into 11th. The Williams, so he's slowly picking off drivers and taking the positions where he can. Not at the fight for them on track, but getting to the end counts. Bobby still managing that position in 4th, about 11 seconds behind, or 6 seconds behind PK, and about 12 in front of Hoshino. He's in a bit of a race of his own, but doing very well. And Eddie Irvine now has Michael Andretti on his rear, and Andretti's still trying to fight back, and he's now at least gotten one lap off of Michael, or Eddie Irvine, I should say. And he needs a bit of a miracle to land inside the top 6 here today for points, which very unlikely it's going to happen, but he's giving it a good go. Now, to give you a couple of laps on board with Alain Prost as he comes through the last corner. Leader so far as I take a small toilet break. back now as Prost comes across the line. He's creating a nice gap for himself there to Emerson Fittipaldi in second place. So far, he is heading towards that driver championship. Yeah, mathematically, Prost will be driver's championship if the race finishes like this. All he needs to do is finish ahead of Fittipaldi. That will be it. Realistically, Fittipaldi needs a race win here to keep his championship hopes alive. At least for the driver's championship. For some reason, Nigel Mansell going here. I imagine that message of the pit call is wrong, since it says he served as pit stop. So see how that plays out at the end. But so far he's still carrying on in 10th place. So fine, and Andretti really putting in the effort here, trying to catch back up. And obviously we did see that he got back past Eddie Irvine, and he's now also gotten back past Mansell, so not out of the question that he could potentially catch up by the end of the race to those two, as he is displaying quite a bit more pace as we look at the last lap times. There, Andretti 36 compared to Mansell with a 1 minute 40, who's on, yeah, I think on really old tires. I'm not quite sure what's going on with his strategy, but let's hope that he at least comes in once into the pit stop, because it seems like he's just running on a massive fuel tank and yeah, on really old tires, so he's even 2 seconds slower than Eddie Irvine. But yeah, Andretti showing the pace to potentially catch up to those two. Obviously, need a little bit more time, but that second pit window is coming closer, and how that plays out. Meanwhile, Mario Andretti has well, not gotten past Nelson Piquet. I think Piquet catching up to the back of Andretti. Obviously, Andretti will be trying to catch up to Thierry Boutsen in front, who is doing a magnificent job for Zach Speed. Meanwhile, Prost still in the lead. Now, oh, this is a bit of a wrong camera. Marshall still trying to push Ross Cheever's car well, out of danger, but he's been out of the race for quite a bit of time now. And Hoshino also in a bit of no man's land, 11 seconds behind Fabi, and 30 seconds ahead of Stefan Johansson behind. It was really nice to see Johansson inside the points. And Moreno right behind, but let's compare their lap times. We have the last time for Moreno being a 35.0 and then a 36.2 for his teammate. So Moreno also looking to catch up to his teammate and pass him again. He's had a bit of an issue at the start of the race, but now trying to make up that time. And obviously, ideally, they'd be hoping for a double points finish here today, as Arrows can definitely use that to fend off Benetton and Nelson Piquet in particular. But yeah, he is slowly making his way up to his teammate in front there, and Irvine catching up to the back of Mansell now. And again, Mansell on that really strange strategy call here. Maybe he is going for a one stop, but we will see. Hope he comes in here soon, because he's losing so much time on those old tires. So Fabi just managing. Nelson PK doing the same. Fabi now 10 seconds behind Prost, and slowly that chance at the driver championship is dwindling lap by lap. Bit over half the grid still going. You see Ferrari trying their best to catch up, but obviously double points finish would be good for Ferrari, trying to keep that championship fight alive, and obviously with a second place and a fourth place they would still draw even with McLaren into the next round. Well, McLaren has really relied on Prost to be their point scorer, as opposed to Ferrari really, well, sharing the load. Theo Fabi has gotten his fair share of points, two podiums at the start of the year in round 1 and round 3, and he's picked up a fourth place in round 5, and then in round 11 he picked up another podium 3 there. So yeah, Fabi with 19 points, he's definitely tried to carry the load along with Fittipaldi, who 43 points. Definitely not a bad number 2 driver for Ferrari. Once their package got into a place where I think Machihara is pretty pleased with it. They've looked really competitive, and they've had their fair share of wins this season. 3 wins for Fittipaldi. Not as much as McLaren, who's had 5, of course, if I recollect correctly. 5 wins for Prost, I think, and well, Prost nearly finishing every race, and I think every race he finished, he scored points. I think to see definitely a higher finishing rate for Prost than Fittipaldi. Before, more of a load being shared between the 2 Ferraris than there is with McLaren, because Sullivan so far has only managed to score points once in round 9, the first race he did for McLaren. Did manage to pick up a second place there, but that was mainly due to attrition of some of the other cars. And meanwhile, we have seen Eddie Irvine now, unfortunately, tire with an oil leak, black smoke coming out of the back of the Williams, and he's had to pull out of the way, out of the race. Ready, still at the back, trying his best to catch up. Hoshino in 5th. Really trying to make up some time. Theo Fabi is 6 or so seconds behind PK, and let's compare time. So last time for Fabi 34.6 and PK at 34.9. So Fabi perhaps getting into a bit of a rhythm, but Prost still beating Fittipaldi 10th at a time, and will be interesting to see if Fabi can catch up to the back of PK, which would be very beneficial for Ferrari. That would put them 1 point ahead of McLaren in the constructors if they get a second and third place here. So we'll keep an eye on that, as Fabi trying to catch up to the back of Mario Andretti in front. There is PK a bit further up the road. Meanwhile, Thierry Boutsen again, still for Zach Speed, having a very good run at it, and not too far off of Roberto Moreno, I believe. Like we said before, in a couple laps time here, we could see the second round of pit stops coming in. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out then, and hopefully Nigel Mansell comes in for a stop, because let's look at his lap times. Last time for Mansell was a 42, so he's yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but just choosing not to come into the pits. And always running over the grass there. He's might be throwing a bit of a tantrum. I'm not sure if Cozy has done something to aggravate the Englishman, but sure looks like it. Driving pretty erratically and doesn't seem to be responding to the pit wall. So Mansell in a bit of a race of his own and in a mind of his own. So let's hope he at least was one pit stop during the race, because really putting those tires to the test as Prost now catches up. Well, let's hope this doesn't cause any sort of issue for the leader of the race. Now, looks like he's getting very cleanly. Yes, he does. No issues there. Now you're on Emerson Fittipaldi if you can do the same. First we'll have to get past a Zach speed, I believe. Still doing fine. Here comes Boutsen now up to lap Nigel Mansell in the march. Oh! Oh, Mansell has completely lost it and went off the track there. I must have assumed one of the tires failed there for Mansell as he just careered off into the barrier. And that will be the end of Mansell's race, but that was interesting to see. Meanwhile, we have Hoshino now getting the first call to come into the pits. After that comical episode by Nigel Mansell, who I think we'll have to have a bit of a discussion with team boss Cozy, because I assume Cozy won't be too happy with his antics there.
At the end of this lap.
Now will come in, bolt on some fresh tires, and then he will go to the end as Prost now gets the call as well. So Fittipaldi going for a longer stint here. He should have fresher tires and a bit less fuel compared to Prost at the end. So hopefully he can gain some time that way. Well, here comes Hoshino in there for the pit entry. Very tight, of course, like we said. And issue for Nelson Piquet as he pulls off with a transmission issue. Like, no more drive for him, so Teo Fabi does move up into third position. which will be very good for Mashihila. Now, Fittipaldi in second, Pabi in third. Might give them the lead in the Constructors' Championship if things stay this way. Now let's see, let's follow Prost into the pits as well. Comes in there into that tight pit. Let's see how McLaren does with their pit stop this time around. Then already with the tires come off. Fresh set goes on. 11.5 seconds is the pit stop there as Fittipaldi for now moves up into the lead, but Prost does have clear air. We'll be making the most of that fresh rubber. Fittipaldi still not coming into pit, no pit call yet. Interestingly enough, both Johansson and Moreno in a good run for points here, so very good for Arrows to score some extra points. Suffering from reliability most of the season. Good moments, but yeah. Single podium for them. Could have been a bit more as Gary Bootsen now reporting some sort of issue with his throttle. He's taking it easy some of these corners, and let's hope he can get to the pits, as that should fall inside of the pit window if he can make it. Now heading up to the pits here, yes, so he will be able to make it to the pits, which is very good for Bootsen. He misses the pits actually with that throttle issue. Oh no! Maybe his throttle got stuck going into the last corner there. And I'm not sure if he'll be able to make it another lap around now. Would be terrible for the... Oh, but he does cut across and now he crashes into the barrier, so his throttle must have been stuck there. Oh, and a disaster. Disaster for Zach Speed there as Bootsen just smashes into the pit wall. Now Fittipaldi getting the pit call as well. Prost 12 seconds behind. Could be a shorter pit stop for Fittipaldi, and obviously he will go at the end of the race with slightly fresher tires, which could give him a shot. And now Roberto Moreno with an issue. Again, people dropping like flies here. Moreno coming out of the back and make it to the end here as Prost now gets held up a little bit. Moreno not too far off. No, he will have to pull off. What a shame for Moreno, as it was looking like a good finishing positions, but Mario Andretti will inherit the next position. Like we've discussed, Michael Andretti slowly moving up. 8.8 seconds now for Fittipaldi. Now Prost is quite a bit ahead now on those fresh tires. Fittipaldi on fresher tires though, and now the question is if he can make up that time to Prost ahead of him. Prost with a good strategical decision, be it from him or the team. Now you can see the two red Ferraris behind each other there. Fabi dropping off. from Fittipaldi there, and he still has to come into pit. Bobby should have a pretty clean run until the end, and so the Ferraris here manage their car. They can take first place in the constructors. That should really be their goal here today. See now on fresh tires how much of a difference that makes between Fittipaldi and Fabi. Fittipaldi, I think, barely pulling 2 seconds on that lap alone. Teammates and Fabi now coming in. Come in now. Mario Andretti does get the pit call, and Michael Andretti actually onto the back of Hoshino. Probably past him. Lap. Follow Mario Andretti around. How he does on his pit stop. That should be the last pit stop for today, but we only have 7 runners remaining now. Michael Andretti well inside the top 10. Andretti coming in now. Serve the last pit stop. He'll be well ahead of Michael Andretti in front. So no need to rush this. He'll have nice and fresh tires for a short stint towards the end. 21 laps for him should be quite a short pit stop. Here, yes, 8.9 seconds, so very quick pit stop there by Minardi, and Andretti should have a pretty comfortable run till the end of the race. And now we do see, I think, Emerson Fittipaldi actually slowly catching up to Prost. So the overcut by Ferrari might actually cause a little bit of an advantage here, and Fittipaldi could challenge for the race victory here towards the end if he keeps making up time like he is. Keep an eye on that relative, because obviously Prost could have been getting up to traffic or other stuff. Definitely seems like he is making up time, and Prost now coming through the first couple of turns, and he will be trying to hold on, but if there's an average of about 0.4 gain per lap, then Fittipaldi will definitely have a chance towards the end of the race here. Could crucially prevent Prost from winning that driver's championship. Now, Ali really pushing hard in that Ferrari. He's is on a mission here as he's catching up to Johansson in front, and obviously he's hoping that Johansson won't be causing any fuss, any issue, as he needs the cleanest run here to try and catch up to Prost in front. Meanwhile, Johansson just be consolidating the position he has and not risk anything here. And gaining, let's check the last lap time here. Yeah, half a second faster for Fittipaldi, he's speeding up. Coming up to the back of Johansson, let's see how Johansson reacts. Onto the straightaway now. Will they have enough to get past here? Not quite, I don't think. Johansson not moving quite yet. We move now, let's see. Kind of an awkward corner to do it, but could be the moment that Fittipaldi gets past. He will go on the outside. When Johansson not making that too easy for him, but does concede in the end. Would have lost Fittipaldi a little bit of time, but at least he can get through cleanly. And now the hunt is on for Prost, as he should have a clean track in front of him. Shouldn't be any sort of issue, as we see Prost here heading across the start finish, and in the background you can see Fittipaldi has 17 laps, make up the deficit. Yeah, you can see he has lost a ton of time behind Johansson, which is very unfortunate. Half a second a lap, it could still be on. Using every inch of the track, really pushing his red horse to the max. Very keen to get into that dead over cross, and I'm sure the team is telling him, along with team manager Mashihila, keep pushing, and that it is able to catch. He is very able to get Prost ahead if he keeps pushing. Meanwhile, Fabi doing a good job just consolidating his position in third here. A double podium would be great for Fittipaldi or Ferrari, but the question is, of course, will it be a 1-3 or a 2? Mario Andretti has managed to make his way into the points now. Again, crucial points for Minardi. They're looking to extend their 2-point advantage from Lotus behind them, and obviously trying to catch up to Ligier. They're 8 or so points ahead, and obviously still in front of Minardi. So yeah, Ligier looking very solid third here in the constructors. Still compare lap times. Yeah, about half a second a lap. Still for Fittipaldi. So not sure if that delta is gonna equalize at some point. Fittipaldi pushing hard. back. To the last corner, will he be within that 6-second mark? He could very well be. Near there. Oh, and Theo Fabi in third there with Ferrari with a transmission issue. With only 16 or so laps to go. Second Ferrari pulls off, so well, terrible news, of course. We'll move the Ligier of Hoshino into third place. Again, a lot of attrition this race. Yeah, that kind of sums up the year, I guess. And though these cars are blisteringly fast, they'll tend to break down quite often. And, well, who wouldn't have guessed it, but Michael Andretti is on his way to finish inside the points. He'll need to complete a couple more laps to get past Fabi, but shouldn't be an issue. And, well, quite some sorry for him. If from 3 laps down he manages to score points here today. Prost now. Still managing in front, but he is slowly losing time to that Ferrari behind him. And I'm sure Prost is now pushing to the fullest as well, trying to keep the advantage, driving towards that world Drivers' World Championship. And I'm sure the team is feeding us him information about Fittipaldi slowly gaining. For him, this will be more about managing until the end and trying to stay ahead, but have to look at it. They're gonna be fighting in possibly in about 12 or 13 laps, which would be 2 laps from the end. Prost now coming through that second or that second sector split. Aldi coming through there as well. 0.3 seconds behind now. Still gaining about half a second a lap, so it is very doable here for Fittipaldi. No, now running in a very nice third position, which would pick him up 4 points. The gap to Minardi by 2 points. Put them on 54 points. Minardi will be on 44 points if it finishes the way it does right now as it stands. That really heats up the battle, or well, actually cools it down a little bit because Ligier can extend the gap. Question, of course, being what will Minardi muster up for the last 2 rounds, as they're probably keen to get into that best of the rest spot. Gino managing perfectly here for Justin Dijkstra, and Dijkstra is on the radio telling him to just bring it home. Those points in the bag. As Andretti closing in ever so slightly on that point paying position. Very unfortunate for Fabi once again. Great position. No, Fittipaldi making up time, 5.5 seconds ahead. It looks like it could be a last lap battle. The last 2 laps battle. Aldi trying his hardest. Meanwhile, Johansson in 4th place for Arrows, which would be a very decent point pickup as well. 3 points for Arrows could be big. And their gap to Benetton. Benetton on 15 points, Arrows on 18. Put them on 21. Yeah, a 6-point difference to Benetton then. Andretti still just managing in 5th. And Andretti, well, Michael Andretti, other Andretti, is now past Tyrrell Fabi, so Tyrrell secures a 1 point here today and draws them closer to Benetton, and most importantly they will get some extra funds being in 6th position compared to 7th. We'll put them in a nice position for the last upgrade round. Here we go. 12 laps to go. Emerson gonna be in striking distance in about 10 laps or so. Experienced Brazilian, really showing that he's got something left in the tank, and well, there's been speculation about his retirement, at least from Formula 1. Might do some sports cars or some Indy, but yeah, he has mentioned a couple times that, well, the busy scheduling of F1 doesn't quite suit him anymore, and getting to an age now as well where he wants to spend some time on other things. Obviously, a drive at Ferrari for this season was too tempting. Well, could still be quite a success story here. We had it. Now see there in the background, he comes ever closer, Fittipaldi. Prost now comes around their last corner, and you will see there, Fittipaldi comes around as well. See how close the gap has gotten. 4.7 seconds, so not as much time gained that lap for Fittipaldi. Prost finding a little bit of pace here towards the end of the race, we have to see. There is a back market coming up in the form of Michael Andretti, I believe. Let's see comparatively what sort of lap times he is doing. So about a 1.6 seconds lower than Prost and Fittipaldi. Hope he doesn't get away in or get in the way of this fight. 11 or so laps to go. Comes around the corner, and now this Fittipaldi, and he is still drawing closer. Another 10th gained. Another 2 tenths gained. Well, Johansson doing his best for Arrows, trying to bring those points home, and a bit extra budget, of course, for those for that last upgrade round. Then we have Mario Andretti and his relative Michael Andretti in 5th and 6th. Michael Andretti still a bit unbelievable that he started the race, went into that gravel pit, 3 laps down, and now he's in the points. Great recovery for him, managing his car, and that's all he had to do today. Prost now slowly catches up to him, and here comes Fittipaldi as well. Prost. Let's see how far he is behind. He's still quite a ways to go until he catches up. Take a lap or two more probably. And he's gaining about a second lap. Then he has, of course, made stops this race and might be on slightly fresher tires as well. Obviously, that Tyrrell car is no match for a McLaren or a Ferrari. Honest. But Andretti, again, sometimes it's not needed to have the fastest car or be the fastest driver. Just need to bring it home. There you can see from the onboard of Fittipaldi has crossed in his sights. Now we will see here, this will be crucial for Prost. Can he get past the Tyrrell efficiently and make or break, and obviously the same could be said for Fittipaldi once he catches up. 0.8 seconds behind now, ever closer. I'm sure Prost can feel him breathing down his neck. Might be a bit of trouble here for Prost in this last sector. Tight and twisty, and Andretti might not be too keen to move out of the way. Just might need to lose a little bit of time here. And going to the slow part here, yeah, we will start losing time. It's very good for Fittipaldi. Yeah, Prost having to back off into the chicane here. Very slowly, and Fittipaldi will be gaining hand over fist. Into the last one, I'm sure down the straightaway Prost will be able to get past, but a lot of time lost, and we'll see how Fittipaldi deals with that. Here, Prost gets past, and yeah, only 3 seconds now between the two. Probably now hoping that the timing is right here and we can catch Andretti at the right time. Maybe down the start for the straight, that would be ideal for him. Yeah. A crucial few laps here, 8 to go. Johnson still going fine. Mario Andretti also just managing the car till the end. So is Michael Andretti and Hoshino. Real battle is here, of course. Here comes Fittipaldi now, closing up, but also looks like he's not going to. This plays right into the hands of Mario Andretti. His engine gives out. And this will be perfect for Fittipaldi, as he'll be able to get past with no issue. There he goes. Lost a tiny bit of time, but not as much as Prost lost there. And Andretti does finish in the points, or well, DNFs and does not finish in the points. Technically, I guess, but he will pick up a point, of course. But he will not make it to the end of the race. It's unfortunate, but this is obviously far more than I'm sure Domi would have thought that he would have gotten this race. Sure, he'll probably pull over here somewhere. Oh, he seems like he might be trying to make it back to the pits, which would be very heroic. Looks like some sort of water leak, but we'll see. maybe he can manage it until the pits. Pretty determined to get there. Not far off now. Going slow now. Oh, he just falls short of the pits there, so nearly got there, but no luck there for Andretti. But of course, we'll still pick up those crucial 1 point and a nice cash bonus for the next upgrade round. Aldi now slowly running out of laps. 6 laps to go with a 2.8 second deficit. Alain Prost right in front of him there. And still gaining time here. Emerson Fittipaldi trying to deny cost of his Drivers' World Championship, at least for now. He's in a good position to do so. Definitely gaining time here in those slower sections. This track really seems to be a nice fit for the Ferrari. Now as they start lap 67, trying to get as close as possible. Gaining time. Let's compare last lap times. Yeah, about 3.5 tenths between the two now. And we'll see now. It's going to be very close, but it might just fall short. Onto the back straight though, compared to the close. A lot of time there. Yeah, he's just within striking range if he keeps up the pace like this. Might fall 1 lap short, we'll have to see. Only get 1 shot at this probably. Up the slight hill through the chicane here. Down into the hairpin. Onto the start-finish straight, and ideally the body will be in 2 seconds here. I lost a little bit of time in that last sector. Oh, Mario Andretti now with an issue as well, and the attrition is really harsh here today. Andretti ultimately coming to a halt in 5th position at the end of the race here. Prost will be looking in his rearview mirrors as he sees Fittipaldi trying to ever closer, and he is getting closer. Now let's keep an eye on the delta. 1.8 seconds. It's getting very close here for Fittipaldi. And ideally he would pick up a little bit of slipstream here in the coming 2 laps or so. That would really help them along here to get close. Four laps to go now. Only 1.6 seconds between the Ferrari of Fittipaldi and McLaren of Prost. Could be a crucial race for both championships. Only 2 races to go. Fittipaldi can deny the Drivers' World Championship for now, and at the same time take the lead in the Constructors. Definitely closing up now onto the back straight. Maybe gets a little bit of slipstream here. Pushing to the max. It's Brazilian versus French. McLaren getting ever closer. Probably will definitely be motivated now. And he's getting closer and closer, lap by lap. Onto the main straight, he might pick up a little bit of slipstream here. We'll have to see. He's now 1 second away. With 3 laps to go, Fittipaldi is making an heroic push here for the lead of the race. Head into turn 2 and then the left kink, turn 3 onto this little bit of a straightaway, then a fast corner, turn 4. Into another small straight, and another kink, turn 5. Into 6. And head down the hill. Pepe. Closing. Now within a second, Fittipaldi, and as we head on to the last couple of laps, he has a good shot here. Now we'll definitely be picking up slipstream. Could see a move happening here. Head into the hairpin, maybe not close enough this time around for Fittipaldi. Prost getting some good traction out of the corner, but only the same. And now, really, less than half a second heading into turn 1. Penultimate lap here. Probably will have to strike on this lap, but make it happen, I believe. He's getting slipstream now, and that will lead him in the overtake. And maybe if we head onto the back straight here, he'll have a shot. So let's see. In the slipstream, here comes Fittipaldi. Prost goes slightly defensive. Oh, and on the inside, Fittipaldi gets through on Alain Prost. Very nice move there by Fittipaldi in the penultimate lap of the race. And a good recovery from Fittipaldi after qualifying down in 8th, I believe. He's made it all the way up to the front. And has now gotten past Prost, and it doesn't seem like Prost has an answer for the Ferrari. The Brazilian in front of him. Good couple of sectors here, a couple of turns, or Fittipaldi can seal a win as he comes through the last corner. He's gonna start the last lap here, heading on to the start-finish straight. traction out of there, creates a decent gap to Prost behind him. Here comes Fittipaldi into turn 1. Cleanly then into turn 2, a very tight hairpin is put on the traction here, then a very fast left-hander. Turn 3 heading into a fast turn 4. And we head into the big braking zone down into turn 5. And 6 on to long straightaway. And yeah, that's created about a second gap here. 1 lap time. Wide entry into second hairpin of the lap. The third one, I should say. And yeah, surely Fittipaldi has done it here. Lap is not over, but heading into the last part of it now. We'll head down into the chicane. And it looks like Prost has no answer for the Ferrari. Into the chicane, Fittipaldi comes through. And they'll head into the last hairpin. Onto the start-finish straight comes Fittipaldi for Ferrari, and a heroic drive as the Scuderia will be elated, and Machihila, his driver, comes across the line, and so Fittipaldi denies Prost from his World Championship for now, and Ferrari will go ahead in the Constructors' Championship. A very good day here for Ferrari, and I'm sure they will be celebrating all night long. And, well, it definitely adds a little bit of spice for the last 2 laps, or the last 2 rounds of the season. Fittipaldi now taking it easy, heading to the pits, and unfortunately Prost losing out here. He'll be devastated. Hasn't sealed the championship here. Should have really done that, and Pedro Diaz, I'm sure, will be consoling him after the race and trying to motivate him for the last 2 rounds. And obviously Kazuyoshi Hoshino now coming across the line in 3rd position. Very nicely done for Hoshino and Ligier, and then Johansson has finished in 4th. So what a battle there towards the end, and Fittipaldi comes out on top. And let's see, as we switch over here to the final screen, short rundown of the finishing order. Only 4 finishers here today. As we go to the final and the full race results. So Emerson Fittipaldi in 1st, beating Prost by 1.1 seconds. Ultimately, very nice strategy by Ferrari, and making up that deficit to Prost in that second half of the race, with Kazuyoshi Hoshino for Ligier finishing 3rd, Stefan Johansson for the Arrows in 4th, Mario Andretti for Minardi in 5th, Michael Andretti for Tyrrell, unfortunately out with the engine towards the end of the race, but will get that 6th position and that 1 crucial point and extra funds for the upgrade round. Then comes Teo Fabi in 7th for Ferrari, unfortunately finishing just outside of the points. Roberto Moreno in 8th for Arrows, Terry Boutsen in 9th, PK in 10th. 11th comes Nigel Mansell with his, tantrum that he threw throughout the race. 12th will be Eddie Irvine, 13th Eddie Cheever. Then comes Satoru Nakajima. Jeff Lees comes 15th. 16th will be Danny Sullivan. 17th, the oh so fast but unlucky Ayrton Senna. Then comes Bernd Schneider with a good effort here. Unfortunately, reliability wasn't on his side. Then René Arnoux in 19th for Benetton. Al Unser Jr. 20th for Tyrrell. Mika Hakkinen 21st. Lige and Ross Cheever. Unfortunately, out very early for Minardi, so he was up in a very good position, and that will be everything. So the battle for Drivers' Championship and Constructors heating up towards the end of the season and the last two races. Next, we'll head into the upgrade round, and I believe we will be heading to a classic Grand Prix. Will be in Japan, which is always a very nice event. And then after that, we will of course have Adelaide close out the season, but very close at the front, and there is still plenty to fight for all the teams. We will see you next time for that one. Goodbye.